Hi everyone, thank you so much for tuning in on the podcast Honestly. Before we get right into this episode, I just want to remind you all that you can find this podcast on Apple Pods, Spotify, and Castbox as well. If you have any suggestions as to where else we can put this podcast, please reach out to me on my Twitter or Instagram. And if you'd like to be a guest on the Honestly podcast, kindly fill in the form in the show notes. And here's what we have for you coming up on this episode.
Yo, the nigga takes us down, just us down there. Yeah? Like, I couldn't even believe my eyes. Like, there were places we couldn't even drive to them, the houses. We had to park the car up and move down Chisasi. And we were going through corridors of housing, and somebody had rented out the boys' quarters of their house, and it's right next to a trench of water opposite somebody selling charcoal. Those situations where you have to okubuka kumwala. Okay, for those who don't understand Uganda, where you have to jump over a trench or a river lake situation to get to your house. I was like, people pay 300,000 for this.
Hi, my name is Monjoy, and welcome to Ohnestly, a podcast about the unfiltered human experience. Each episode features stories from everyday people, capturing the gut-wrenching, hilarious, completely unhinged, and everything in between. On this podcast, we share the moments that have shaped who we are and changed how we see the world, or have just made us laugh. So join us as we listen to honest stories from honest strangers.
Hi everyone, welcome back to Honestly. This is the season finale, the final episode of season 1, episode number 10. I cannot believe that we have actually reached this far, from episode 1 to episode 10. And I just want to say thank you to everyone who's been tuning in and listening in and sharing the links, commenting and liking and hitting up my DMs and blowing up my WhatsApp number. Oh my god, I like this episode. You should talk about that. Listen, I'm grateful to you all for listening to the Honest podcast and for being the fire. Is it the fire? The wind beneath my wings. Yeah. Special shout out to all the guests that have been showcased in this season of Honestly. I appreciate you all. For this episode, I will be sitting in the guest chair for the first time and sharing my very own honest story about my experience when I moved out of my parents' home. So let me paint the picture for you. Okay? I am 24 years old at the time. Very big-headed. I still am. But anyways, very big-headed, hell-bent on living on my own. Why? Well, to begin with, before I graduated, I was studying from USIU, Nairobi, and actually that is the first time I ever moved out of home. Though technically it was school, so it wasn't like moving out thing by myself situation, but I wasn't home, I had left my country to another country. I'm studying in a new environment, new language, meeting new people. And of course, it was scary at first, but throughout the 4 years of my degree, I actually enjoyed the experience. And being thrown in the deep end and learning how to swim on the go was very fun for me. I found myself being pushed to grow in ways that I didn't think I would have to at the time. By that, I mean learning to budget, learning to plan my day, my time, looking forward to my space uninterrupted. Those are things I really enjoyed while I was studying in USIU. And actually, in my final year of school, I went out of the school hostels, rented a single room. It was called Dishu for my Nairobi audience. I don't know if you guys will know Dishu, but it's some, make-do apartment that side of USIU. And yeah, I had no money, to be honest, because I thought I'd have a job by then, and then I lost the job I had at the moment. No money, but then I had to make it work. So I bought a pallet bed, some rundown furniture, a bunch of things from Gigi, Kenya. Yeah, and the funny thing is, I moved out when I had only 3 months left of school. But I was just like, no, actually, no, I had 2 semesters left of school, but I was like, I want to do this. I want to experience it. Got all the little savings I had from the job I had before, moved out of my school hostels to Dishu apartments, was on my pallet bed, my fairy lights, had no TV. I used to use my laptop, no fridge. It was crazy, but I enjoyed it. I even hosted a few of my friends from Uganda in my place, Nairobi, and they came to see me, and we were about like 6 people in that small room. So fast forward, after uni, I came back to Kampala, Uganda, and I'm back to my parents' home, and I get comfortable. The thing is, when I had moved out in Kenya and I realized I didn't have money, I was trying everything I could to make it. My friend and I began like a Rolex business to make some money. Like, I was applying to jobs here and there to try and make some money. I even started braiding some people's hair. I'm not a braider, but I did everything I could to make some money. But when I come back to Uganda, that's like November 2023. Okay, not November, about October, around there anyway. I come back to Uganda, start applying for jobs, get my first job in November, December of 2023. And then, I'm home. I'm comfortable. Everything is provided for me. I don't have to figure out rent or water or the money that I need to go out with my friends. Like, it didn't need to cross my mind because I didn't see the need to fend for myself that way, especially since I was getting a good pay from where I was working and where I'm still working at the moment, actually. But anyway, around 2023 November until the next year, 2024, I was just staying by myself until randomly I decided to visit a friend of mine in Nairobi, Belinda. Belinda, who shared with us her content creation story. If you are a returning listener, you would know. You would know. Anyway, so I got to visit Belinda in Nairobi. I had gone to actually pick my papers from school, and then I decided I would just stay over for like a few days and visit my people that side. So I go and see Belinda. I met Ellie. I met Nyasha, and like actually when I was speaking to Belinda about how she has found life after uni, and she was telling me about these very many different things that she's been doing to try and make ends meet because she stays on her own, and she's doing all these things to make sure that there's food, literally, that there's food at home. And I was like, oh my God, I miss being this kind of person. I miss being the kind of person that was not laid back. I don't know, like I missed being the person that wanted more for myself, that wanted to create a world for myself with my own hands, and I don't know, use everything I can, use everything around me to make the kind of life I want for myself a reality. And I was seeing my friend living that, out. And not just Belinda, even Ellie, my friend Ellie, shout out to you, Ellie, and Nyasha. And in my head, I was like, oh my goodness, we are the same. I mean, we finished school at the same time, but her headspace is so different from where mine is. Like, my headspace is, okay, let me go to work, come back home, chill, catch up on a series, go back to work. Like, that's that's where I had been at the moment. And even the small businesses that I had, like at the time I was making bonnets and pillowcases and sleep masks that I actually used to sell in Nairobi. But when I came back and then I got a job, which really took up a lot of my time, I just kind of let go of my small business because I was like, well, it's okay. I have a main income and I don't really need another source of income at the moment, especially when I don't have the time for it. So I had let it go. But then I met Belinda, and listen, I don't know if she had 24 hours in her day, but she was doing everything she could to make the life that she wants for herself possible. So I thought, you know what, Pamela, being at home is giving you a sense of comfort that is not real. By that I mean, like, I don't know if it was just my overthinking, but I felt like one day I'm going to wake up and I am at the same level I have been at for like 5-7 years because of being comfortable. I don't want to be comfortable anymore. I want to put myself in a position where I have to get out of my comfort zone by force, because if I don't, then I won't eat. The kind of situation. That's what I felt like I needed. I felt like I needed that push, and the environment around me wasn't giving it to me, and I needed to be in a situation where I'm forced to get out of my comfort zone, think out of the box, use whatever resource that is available to me to create my kind of lifestyle for myself. So after I met Belinda, I came back home, and I had met her like when I think it was around April last year. I come back home and I'm like, Pamela, before 2025 ends, we are moving out of home by force. So I tell my parents, we usually have family meetings at home. So one family meeting, I tell my parents that I am thinking of moving out. And mind you, this was like the second or third time I had brought it up, because I brought it up when I had just come back from school in 2024, and they were against the idea. They were like, move out to go where? Who has trust you? Why would you do that? Blah, 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 blah. So I didn't bring it up again. But then after meeting my friend back in Nairobi, I came back with the resolve, like, come rain, come sunshine, this year is not finding me in my parents' home. I need to leave. So I told them, listen, guys, I'm going to move out of home. Of course, they were against it. They were like, no, why? You're a young girl. You have just started working. Nobody has stressed you out of home. Why do you want to leave? And I could not explain to them that I am comfortable in a way that is making me scared of staying at this level. Like, I need to leave here so that I can expand. I feel like I wanted to tell them, like, at home I feel like I have reached the peak of growth I can possibly reach at home, and the rest of the growth that I need is out of home, and I need to go out to get that growth that I need. But I couldn't put my these thoughts in words the way I'm putting them in words right now. So I didn't have an explanation. I just told them, guys, you're either with me or you're not. So of course I used my bigger sisters to kind of back me up, and yeah, shout out to Priscilla for backing me up, man. So anyway, when I get at least my dad on board, I start to go house hunting. And so we started house hunting in like around May and June, looking for places. My idea was places around in Tinda, Chisasi, Bukoto, Kulambiro, that stretch. So we begin house hunting, and the stark difference between the real estate environment in Nairobi and the real estate environment in Kampala, crazy. I don't know if it's because in Nairobi I was already in places that have sensible housing, so I wasn't exposed to places with terrible housing. But Kampala, bro. Let me even give you some context. So the first broker I get from TikTok. Right? I go to TikTok, I look for brokers, I make a whole Excel sheet. By the way, if you know your house hunting in Chisasi, Kulambro side, I have an Excel sheet for you for brokers. Anyway, I make an Excel sheet of all the brokers that I have come across on TikTok and that my friends have referred me to. And I start calling them one by one. And then I get this one who is at Loy Plaza. And I meet him one Saturday. Me, my sister Pauline, and my friend Christabel. We meet this guy, and he's taking us around houses in Chisasi. Now, mind you, I had not really specified the what I wanted. I just knew I wanted to move out, but what I wanted to move out to, I didn't really know. So I went with an open mind. I just knew a price tag, and I told him, like, I want something 350 to 450,000, because basing off of how much I was paying in Kenya, it was roughly the same, because in Kenya I was paying 350,000 rent for a single room, which is basically a studio apartment. So so I thought I'll get the same thing here in Uganda. Yo, the nigga takes us down takes us down there. Yeah, like I couldn't even believe my eyes. Like there were places we couldn't even drive to the houses. We had to like park the car up and move down Chisasi, and we were going through like corridors of housing, and somebody had like rented out the, let's say, the boys quarters of their house, and it's right next to like a trench of water, opposite somebody selling charcoal, like those situations where you have to okubuka kumwala. Okay, for those who don't understand Luganda, where you have to jump over like a trench or like a river lake situation to get to your house. Eh? I was like, people pay 300,000 for this, and funny thing is, my sister had done house hunting before, Pauline, so she wasn't moved. She was like, "Why, this is actually okay." I'm like, "You guys, it's not okay, mind you." As if getting to the house is not bad. The house itself is the kind of house where like the shower is right above the toilet. Like, you guys, I was like, what is this? Eh, I'm laughing now, but in that situation, I had no word. Mind you, the broker is proudly portraying these houses as the best of the best in the market. I couldn't do it. I couldn't do it. So that was my first experience house hunting. I first took a break for like a week. I was traumatized. I was like, there is no way, there is no way, there is no way. I worked hard for a full month, sweating, and I give you my 300K, and that's what I'm living in. There are no windows. The ventilators are barely open. It is black inside. I am next to like market vendors. I jump trenches to get to my house, and literally where I pee is where I shower from. Like, I can't. I can't. Anyway, so after that, I sat down and I did like research to get an idea of what exactly I want to move out into. So I decided, you know what, Pamela, clearly 350K is not going to get you what you want. Let's first start with understanding what exactly you want. So I decided, you know what, I want a 1 bedroom house, because I used to stay in a studio in Nairobi, and I kind of wanted more space. So I want a 1 bedroom. That's what I decided. I'm going to get a 1 bedroom house, and I'm going to get it at least 500,000 Ugandan shillings to like 650, not more than that. So after revising my, what I want for myself, I decided to ask for help from my workmates, because I couldn't do the whole TikTok thing again. Like, I got the broker from TikTok, and the nonsense it showed me just made me feel like I can never go back to TikTok. So I used TikTok to get the idea of what I want. And then I asked my friends, my workmates who had already moved out, the people they used to get them the houses that they had gotten. And so finally a workmate of mine got me a broker that he had used before to get him the house he was currently living in. And so I used that guy. And I told him, this is what I want, this is how much I have. And finally, he started showing me very sensible, at least more appealing places than the horror I had seen, the past week. So I get this guy, I think his name was Joseph, takes me through Bukoto. I go to places in Bukoto, and I noticed like, actually, people had started to upholster their basements or their boys' quarters to turn into rentals, which is a very interesting idea. I hadn't ever seen something like that. So these are the first houses that I saw, ranging from 500 to 600K. I didn't like the idea of moving out of a home to go in someone else's home, and I'm in their boys' quarter. Like, it just felt so weird. So I didn't go with those options of moving into people's boys' quarters. I wanted a rental, or an apartment building, but not someone's boys' quarter. Though I must say that the boys' quarter situations provided more security because essentially the landlord is right in your compound. You know, anything that you need, you just go knock on the door and they'll be there. Plus, if they are in your compound, then they're bound to make it more secure because it's their home. You understand? As opposed to a landlord being elsewhere and you also stay, elsewhere. But still, I didn't like the option, so I didn't go with it. So I told the broker, I don't like this. Find me like something more sensible. And by the way, before I even get to this level of a story, I decided to involve my parents while house hunting because I felt like I couldn't just rip off the band-aid and just pack up my things and leave. I don't know. It felt so harsh. Yet, they're my parents and they haven't done anything to push me out of a house. Honestly, I live in a very beautiful, loving home. So they didn't do anything to warrant me moving out. It was just my fear of being stuck, of feeling stuck because I'm in the same place and I'm in an environment that doesn't allow me to grow beyond what I could possibly get to. So I had to involve them in the process. So I was house hunting with my mom and my dad. Whenever they were free, I told them, come with me and I show you what I have seen. So that the idea begins to settle in their minds and I involve them. And the truth is, there are things that they could see that that I wouldn't see. There are advantages they could point out that I couldn't point out. So it was hopeful, honestly, and easier. So back to the second broker. Finally, we find a place in Shisasi. Along Sevagala Road, and it was a new unit, 1 bedroom house, very very well lit, beautiful finishing. It was just perfect. It was a very beautiful unit, and it was like a standalone rental. It wasn't like a storied building. Standalone rental. And yeah, I liked it. I got in, I loved it. I liked the fact that nobody else had stayed in it. I would be the first person staying in it. It was homey. It felt like a place I could make my own. I really really loved the environment. It looked like a quiet environment. Around me were other homes, not like markets or whatever. So I was sold. And then when the guy told me it was 600K, I said, you know what? It's 100K above my budget, but it's new. So let me take it. So I paid, and I paid 4 months upfront. Listen, guys, I cleared my unit trust account for this move. I still can't believe I did that, but I've done crazier things that I will tell you in the next season of Honestly. But yeah, I cleared my unit trust account, paid rent for 4 months. Mind you, I had like less than 1 million shillings left to shop for that house, shop for the food, pay for electricity, water, transport myself from there to work. Nothing do. Sometimes I do things anyway. But I was like, finally, I get to be pushed out of my comfort zone because I felt like being in that situation where I have ripped my safety net out, literally from under my feet. I will be forced to find different ways to make ends meet, which is what I wanted for myself. So I move in on the 1st of when did I move in? On the 1st of July? I think it was the 1st of July. Okay, the first week of July 2025. I moved into my house with my mom and my dad. Moved into my house. I, of course, borrowed everything I could borrow from my parents, starting from my bed, my couch, the TV, a fridge, a microwave. Bro, guys, just know I shopped from my parents' house. Everything that I could get, saucepan, dustbin, what. I literally just bought food, a few kitchen utensils, and toiletries. Everything else was from my mother and father. They're so sweet. I got everything I could from their home, moved in with them. My mom was with me the whole time, cleaned up the house with me, set up my area, like made sure I had like padlocks and stuff. It was a very bittersweet moment. And then they left me there in my house alone. And for a second, I stood in that house and I could not believe that I had actually done it. Like I have actually moved out. Let me tell you, by the way, guys, it's one thing to dream to do something and another to actually do it. Like the feeling, it can be so exciting, and in the same breath, so freaking scary. Like, what the hell have I done? That's where I was in my head. I was so excited. But in the same breath, I was like, what the hell have I done? Like, I have no savings whatsoever. I am at zero and I have moved out of my parents' home. Now what? Now what am I going to do? Hmm? But I was like, what's done is done. What's done is done. So I had a few friends of mine, my best friend Ruth, shout out to Ruth and Christopher, come to visit me, and they were all encouraging me, like, oh my god, you got congrats. My sister came by as well, and her husband congratulating me basically for finally seeing the project through. And mind you, I'm saying thank you guys, wow, thank you for support, but in my head I'm like, what have I done? But anyways, so yeah, I moved into this house, and then on day 2 after moving in, I wake up in the morning and there is no water. After paying for my 4 months of rent, nyingidde ennyumba teri mazzi. I'm like, what's this? What's happening? What's going on? I asked my neighbor, what's up? Now there's no water. He tells me, man, water in this area comes at what? 2 a.m. in the morning, 1 or 2 a.m. in the morning, and then it leaves at like 8 in the morning. Or sometimes they can come like at 10 p.m. and then it's done by like, 7 a.m. in the morning. I'm like, what do you mean? Like, I don't think my landlady told me. My landlady didn't mention this. She's like, yeah, we've been like this for like a month, but she says she'll fix it within this month. So perhaps you may not experience the shortage as much as we have. I was like, eh? So I asked now, to give you context, right? The space in which this unit is in is owned by a lady. I'm going to call her Kathy to respect her privacy. And she partitioned the space in a way that her son got one half of it and her daughter got the other half. Her son decided to build a storied apartment, and then the daughter was the one building the units that we are renting out, that I'm currently renting in. And the units were 3, mine being the newest, the other 2 being the oldest. So on my side of the compound, we were 3 renting to the daughter, Kathy's daughter. On the other side of the compound, there were people I don't know, hadn't met them, renting to Kathy's son, right? But when I was moving in, it was Kathy's son who, because he was physically staying in that compound, it was him that I was always in contact with. So I call him and I ask him what's up with the water. He's like, yeah, we just have to like fetch some water, maybe get a few jerry cans, pay somebody to get some water, but then we're working on it. I asked him, give me timelines. He's like, you know what, I'm not sure because that's not my unit. You're gonna have to ask my mother. So I call his mother. In fact, I first call the daughter because the daughter is ideally my landlady, quote unquote. And she's like, oh yeah, listen, I sent my mom money for the water, but I don't know what happened. Let me fast track the issue. Don't worry, you'll be able to get water by end of a week. I'm like, anyway, it's okay. It's just day 2. It's just day 2, not a bad thing entirely. As if that's not enough. By end of the week, I found out that I'm sharing a meter. Actually, not end of week, by like day 4, I'm sharing an electric meter with my neighbor. Let me call him David. And then I'm like, what the hell? I thought every unit had their own meter. So again, I asked Kathy's daughter, yo, like, what about the meter and stuff? She's like, oh, sorry about that. I'm also working on that. You'll get a meter soon and your water will be fixed. I'm like, what date is soon? When is soon? Who is soon? Like, could you give me, realistic timeline so I know when to anticipate a meter and water? She tells me by mid-month, right? So by mid-July, you should be able to have water. I'm like, cool. Okay, I'll keep calm. So this is like Wednesday because I moved in like on Sunday. So let's say like Wednesday, there's no water. There's power, yeah, but I'm sharing a meter, and I found that so, I don't know, like how do you quantify electricity? Between two people, like how do you? It was such a tricky thing, and this is someone I don't know, but anyway. Thankfully, he was sensible. David was sensible. He was a sensible neighbor, so we're able to split the bill in a way that makes sense. I would put him like 30, he puts in 30, 60K for a month and a few weeks. Yeah. So on Thursday, on Thursday, in my house, I've come back from work, I think. Yeah, I'm in my house. This is still week 1, mind you. I come back from work. I know there's no water. I'm just getting a jerry can, preparing my food and what. 9 p.m. sharp. Some good church next to us begins to make noise. And it is loud. And I'm like, there is no way I moved into this house and I did not spot a church. Like, mind you, on the day of moving in, I didn't see a church anywhere. Funny thing is, when I moved in, I had my mom ask. There was a metallic structure made of iron sheets next to me, like, okay, outside of the gate. She asked, what is it? Someone was like, eyo kanisa naye munange terimu bantu bangi nnyo kale kubanga yawa yakatandika, something like that. Meaning, in English, that's a church, but they didn't really have as many followers because it had just started. So I figured, okay, maybe it's not those kind of churches that make noise because it had just started. What? Tell me why on Thursday I'm back, I'm tired from work, and these guys begin at 9 p.m. sharp. Praise and worship. Loud, uncoordinated. You know, people who sing off key. Like, I'm such a music lover. I can smell off key notes from afar. They were off key. They are loud. It is 9 p.m. I am tired. There's already no water. Oh my God, you guys. I wanted to die. So I just asked my neighbor, I'm like, David, what is this? He's like, oh, the church? Man, we are used to this one. I'm like, what do you mean? What do you mean? What do you mean you're used to this? He's like, hey, these guys make noise. Like from Thursday, but today they're going to end early. I'm like, what time? They're like, he's like, they end like around midnight or maybe 1. I'm like, that is early. He's like, yeah, they end early on Thursday. It is Friday and Saturday. It's Friday where they end really late. I'm like, if 1 a.m. is early, what is late? He's like, yeah, like 4 a.m. Hey guys, I was like, what? Like, yeah, they can end at 4 a.m. These guys can make so much noise. You can fail to sleep. I'm like, what have you done about it? Like, why haven't you complained to, like, Kathy's son or her daughter or Kathy herself? You will not believe the next word that came out of David's mouth. David tells me, Kathy, the owner of the land, Kathy, whose children are renting on the land, Kathy is the lead pastor of the church. Guys. I was like, what? Yeah. David tells me, I take complaint to Kathy. Kathy is the owner of the church. She's the one leading the praise and worship. I'm like, is she unaware she has tenants in her backyard? There is like, man, even here they've helped you. Before you came in, they would make noise from like 6 p.m. all the way into the night. I'm like, you've got to be kidding. You have got to be kidding. That this is not listen, this must be a simulation of some nature. This can't be real, this can't be true. But it was, guys, it was. Anyway, so that Thursday, I just decided, you know what, let me just shower, clean up my house, cook myself some supper, and watch like Netflix until I find some sleep. And I'm a very light sleeper, so it was hard. It was hard to sleep in that noise. But at some point, they got done, like at around midnight, Thursday night. Mind you, I have work tomorrow, which is Friday. But I'm like, whatever. So the next morning, I wake up. Of course, there's no water. I'm like, anyway, the chick said midweek. Let me be patient. I get to work. Now that day, my best friend, my best friend Ruth and Christabel decide to come and sleep over in my house. So sweet. So they come to my house to sleep over on Friday night and before Saturday. So they come over, we make some noodles, we do some shopping from a nearby mall. It's called White Horse Mall, Panama Supermarket, that side of Chisasi. Do some shopping, noodles, sausages, what, porridge, basically set up a kitchen. I make them some dinner, we plug in a movie. As we are there watching the movie, like clockwork, 9 p.m. sharp, these guys of the church start making noise again. You people. I was like, what is this? Anyway, I'm like, you guys, I'm so sorry these guys make noise, but hopefully by 11:30 they would have reduced on the noise and we're able to go to sleep because we all had we all had to go to church the next day. So we are there trying to, pass by the time, watching a movie, catching up on jazz, talking about who, what, where. Oh my goodness, I'm like, can't believe I moved out. Oh my god, what? Yeah, we're in that jazz and we figure out sleeping situations, who's sleeping on the couch, who's sleeping on the floor, who's sleeping on the bed. Yeah, around 11:30 there. These guys, don't they increase the sound? Don't they increase the noise? People, I couldn't believe it. I couldn't believe it. I text my neighbor. I'm like, what is happening? He's like, I don't know. I don't know what's happening. They usually turn down the music, but they just gotten louder. I apologize to my friends. I'm like, yeah, I'm so sorry, but let's give them like an hour. Hopefully they'll be done. Yeah, it's 1:30. The music somehow has gotten louder. I can't sleep. I have an early start tomorrow. I was pissed. I'm like, I can't believe I have paid this woman close to like 3 million shillings for peace and quiet. There is already no water, and now you're making noise for me. I was so pissed. I don't know where the anger came from. I don't know where the will came from. I got out of my bed. I was in my 90s, mind you. It is 1:30 a.m., around 2 a.m. actually. I got up and went to the church. Wait, I'm judging this story and I can't believe I did these things. I got out of my bed and marched to that church, knocked on that door with the fury of the ancestors of Oahu. I don't know. I was pissed. Knocked on that door. Then some guy, I think he was like the praise and worship guy. I don't know whether some guy anyway comes to the door. He's like, who are you? I'm like, I am your neighbor and I cannot sleep. You guys are making noise for me. I have work tomorrow. Can you turn it down? He's like, oh my god, we're so sorry. Listen, I'm almost done. Give us like 30 minutes, but we're going to reduce the volume. We're so sorry about this. I'm like, sorry or not, I need to sleep. You guys know you have a church next to tenants. Please be respectful of your neighbors and turn down the noise. Mind you, as I'm talking to this guy, I scan inside the building and there's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 people. I'm like, why are you making this much noise when you're just 5? You are just 5, a congregation of 5, and I am adding the lead and the and the Polygon worship people as well. Like, you're not even that many. All your seats are empty. Why? Why are you screaming on top of your lungs? For whom? At 2 a.m. in the morning. Anyway, the guy is like, I'm sorry. I'm going to, I'm going to tell the guitarist and Ovahu to turn the things down. I'm like, cool. I'll go back to my bed. You guys, did they turn the things down? They did not. 3 a.m., 3:30, I got out of my bed the second time. The second time. You know what? You know where this gas came from? The fact that I had paid my money. Like, in my head, I was like, does this woman know that I have emptied my savings to make her rich? And she's here making me regret my decision. How dare you? How dare you make me regret something I've always wanted for myself? I get out of my bed the second time. My friends are looking at me, the ones who are sleeping over, they're looking at me like, it's just crazy. I couldn't sleep. I was pissed. I get out of my bed the second time. I go to the door and I ask the guy who I confronted the first time. He comes out again like, listen, we're sorry. I'm like, I don't want to talk to you. I want to talk to Kathy herself. He's like, oh, but she's the one praying. I'm like, I can't cut that prayer short the way she has cut short my sleep and come out. I refuse to leave until the lead pastor comes out. I tell her, Kathy, are you not the one I have paid my rent to? Are you not the one I have paid my money to? She's like, no, we usually have these prayers. Why we need the prayers? Why we need to pray? Like, I'm like, I don't care who you need to pray to. Are you not the one I have paid for peace and quiet? How can you be the source of my anger at this time? How can you be the source of the noise for your own tenants? How can you run your church up to this time? It is 4 in the morning. What time do you want us to sleep? Or you're going to go and sleep? Mind you, Kathy didn't stay where we are staying. She stays like in a further, much more quiet environment. But she's here making noise for us who pay her. I'm like, Kathy, be serious. You cannot be making noise for me. Yet I have paid you rent of 4 months for peace and quiet. Why didn't you tell me this and I just don't bother coming? Why are you making noise for me like I did anything wrong? Why can't you pray quietly? Do you think God doesn't have ears? Just not I'm yapping. Quarreling, mixing my broken Uganda with English with this babe. I'm not gonna allow her to squeeze in any words because I am fed up and pissed. She's like, fine. She goes behind the building and removes the power source. I'm like, finally. I go back to my bed and finally I get some sleep. I'm like, if you guys are 5, you're 5. We're 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Why can't you keep the noise inside to yourselves? Like, anyway, I get some sleep, wake up the next morning, pissed as hell. I come out of my house with my friends and I'm seeing the neighbors, like people around outside of our gate who stay around us, looking at me all weird and funny. I feel like the story went around. Man, that's the woman who came and raised hell for us in church. That woman, why was she raised? I'm like, I don't give a damn. You guys did not empty your savings to pay rent to somebody who's making noise for you. I did, and I will get what I have paid for. Anyway, so after altercation with Kathy, my landlady, things just go south from there. We never see eye to eye, basically.
Thank you so much for tuning in. Watch out for part 2 coming out next week. Until then, bye.